It's time for the Spoony One! Wrestling Show! It's time for the Spoony One!
Oh, this Wrestle thing is a curse. So, I'm going to PAX. This is a true story. And I turn my phone on and I get email. So this is Thursday. No, this is Friday. Okay, so I get off the plane. And I haven't seen Impact. And I get my inbox and my Twitter, I get so many direct messages that say, dude, Impact was horrible. And I emailed back, I was like, it's always horrible. And they're like, no, seriously, it's fucking bad. So that's what I have to look forward to, is like, you know, when I get back and I've got all this PAX stuff to do, and I'm almost done with it. There's only one more. But I have to go back, and sure enough, I have to watch Impact, you know, and even people, it's so bad that people are even commenting above and beyond the normal badness of Impact. And yeah, it was bad. It was really, really bad. And I'm actually not going to talk about it. Because I actually have read spoilers for the next few weeks. So my recollection of events is kind of compressed. Like the next week or 2 weeks is kind of compressed. And so I got like last week, this week, which didn't air. And last week, the week before that, and this week. Because last week it didn't air. And instead of airing this week, there was an online web show called the Bound for Glory Kickoff Show, which was essentially just an excuse to sell posters and various merchandise, and an interview with Dixie Carter. Yay. But yeah, I didn't take notes on the last Impact, but it was horrendously bad. In fact, I almost should go back and watch the old Impact and just do a special episode for that one. Because that was, even for Impact, that was top 10 bad. It was bad. And I wish I could remember. Honestly, I've blocked it from my memory. I know it was really, really bad, though. So, I'm not going to go into it that much, except to address the title situation. And I went on a rampage on this on Twitter. Because when I went on my Twitter rampage, I was actually watching it in the background. And I was commenting on it there. So I was like, I wasn't going to talk about it here, but here it is. Either this week or the week after, Rob Van Dam comes back. And he wants to fight Abyss because Abyss beat him up with the 2x4 with nails in it. So, this is so stupid for so many reasons. I'll just run down the chain of events and see if you can stop me where this gets dumb. Okay. Rob Van Dam gets taken out by Abyss. Hospitalized, in fact. To the point that he can no longer defend his World Heavyweight Championship. 2. TNA management strips him of the title because he can't defend it. And then announces a tournament. A 2-month tournament to determine a new champion. A tournament which, by the way, completely circumvents the top 10 contender ranking system, which, in my mind, is specifically designed to clear up any ambiguity as to the line of succession as to who should be champion. You do a tournament when it's not clear who the champion should be. When you have a top 10 ranking system, shouldn't it be very clear who the champion should be if the champion is eliminated, as in the number 1 contender? Or, failing that, you take the number 1 and the number 2 contenders, and you have a match to determine the interim championship. That's what an interim championship is! So, ignoring that, which, mighty big fucking thing to ignore, but let's ignore that. This tournament will end at Bound for Glory. Okay? Rob Van Dam has Bound for Glory, which, by the way, is a week to 2 weeks after Rob Van Dam GM returns from his injury. The tournament to determine a new champion will conclude after the injured champion has returned to action. Now, they did throw us one bone in that Rob Van Dam gets the first title shot at the new champion. A sliver of logic in a world of madness. However, again, that's why you have an interim championship. That's when the former champion returns, he and the interim champion have a match. God, it's fucking stupid. Fucking stupid. Like I said, that wasn't even part of the show. And I've already bitched like 15 minutes on this shit. So, Raw. I actually don't have that much to say about Raw. Call it a lack of journalistic integrity if you like. But I think wrestling's worst enemy is the start of the football season. Because every time the wrestling show gets boring, I decided to tune in and see how the Jets were doing. As a result, I missed pretty much all of Raw. Because this show is fucking boring. I know. I'm supposed to be covering this shit. I did see it. I have notes. So I got the gist of it. But this show still fucking sucked. Okay, so the guest host for this show was Chad Ochocinco. Right away, you're just like, remote. But no, Ochocinco comes out. And I don't know why he's out there. Mainly he's out there so The Miz can come out and get some cheap heat by bashing on the Bengals. Heat which, I have to admit, is pretty richly deserved. He talked about like how him and T.O. went to the locker room at halftime and missed the Hail Mary pass, which, actually pretty much legitimately did cost them some points. And the GM buzzes in. That thing where the magic laptop keeps buzzing in. And here's the thing. He buzzed in like 30 fucking times in this show. They've actually somehow managed to make that really annoying thing work. To where they know it's bad, and they're kind of embracing it by the fact that Michael Cole is now like well and fully just straight out heel. I'll have more about that later, but every time the motherfucker gets an email, the lights dim and it's doo-doo-doo, and Cole stands up and he raises his arms. He's like, "Everybody, may I have your attention, please? I am receiving an email from the general manager." And he steps up to his podium and he's like, "Everybody," and I quote. So he's got like this 30-second ritual every fucking time the email arrives. He's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, I've received an email from the general manager." Like the glasses, this asshole. They're straight up pulling the trigger on this heel turn. I don't know who the general manager is. I don't think WWE knows who the general manager is. But they're doing wonders with Cole. Like I said, I am loving heel Cole right now. So he announces that Miz is going to be in a submission match. It's the Raw roulette wheel, which, usually they make it seem like there's a semblance of randomness. It never is. But this show in particular, they weren't even trying to make it seem random because, well, the matches they spun up were just like, oh, that's convenient. Like, every match was kind of like raised the question, like, oh, that's convenient. So, of course, he gets a submission match. And then he says, well, Chad Ochocinco can choose who your opponent is. And sure enough, he chooses Bryan Danielson. And they have a match. and almost immediately, Miz pulls out of the match claiming he has a hernia. And Cole, because he's super heel, and seriously, like, Cole really wants the Miz's cock up his ass. He really wants the Miz jizz, like, the jizz of the Miz, like, big time. And so, like, it's really funny how Cole marks out for the Miz, like, every time. Like you know that schoolboy voice that I was talking about, like Mike Tenay? Like, when Mike Tenay goes, "Oh boy, it's Hulk Hogan!" Like, Michael Cole goes, "Oh boy, it's the Miz!" By the way, the Miz, Bryan Danielson gave the sissiest, lousiest kick to the Miz's poster the week before. I think I tweeted something like, Bryan Danielson 316 says, "I just kicked your poster." Seriously, that is a moment that... When Bryan Danielson's career utterly fails in the WWE, that's going to be pretty much the poster, like literally like the poster image of his failure. That's Shockmaster levels of failure right there when he kicked that fucking poster. It looked like the shittiest fucking thing I've ever seen. So, Miz pulls out of the match, and he's like, "I have a hernia." And the announcer says, "The winner by forfeit." He's like, hold on, Daddy. I didn't fucking forfeit. I quit. Like, I'm pulling out to injure something. Like, he fucking quit. So... he says, "Alex Riley will wrestle for me," and sure enough, Bryan Danielson stretches him out like immediately, and that's it. And Cole, the whole time he's like, "He can't wrestle. He's got a hernia. He's got a hernia." Like, that happens. That could be serious. Like, his stomach wall just exploded right here. And King, like, it's really weird seeing the King in the face roll, but whatever. So after the match, Miz miraculously heals and he jumps him, and Cole goes, "Well, sometimes these things heal quickly." Like, I'm loving heel Cole. I'm sorry. Edge and Evan Braun in a body slam challenge. By the way, I promised myself I was never going to explain this gag, but I keep getting these really hurt emails from people who are like, "It's not Evan Braun. Why do you keep saying that? It's Evan Bourne." It's not Evan Bourne either. It's Matt Sydal. It's okay. It's... Ozzy Osbourne said Evan Braun a while back, and so I always call him Evan Braun. They also said Kobe Johnston instead of Kofi Kingston, so I call him that too. They called Sheamus John Sheamus, so I always say John Sheamus. You know, yeah, it's obscure, it's annoying, I do it anyway, fuck off. A body slam challenge. They wrestled, Edge won. Then the manager says, "I didn't like the way you took advantage of Evan Braun after the match, so now you gotta fight Mark Henry." And Mark Henry kicks his kicks his ass. And I just have to question what the fuck the point of that was. They made Edge look like an idiot. And honestly, I forgot that Edge was in the six-pack challenge at Night of Champions. That's the only thing I remember now. Was they're like, "Oh yeah, this loser's in the six-pack challenge." Let's see. Oh, yeah. This is where I fucking change the channel. They spin the wheel. Song and dance match. R-Truth and fucking Eve Torres against Ted DiBiase and Maurice. There's like 3 parts of that match that instantly are like channel changers for me. Song and dance, R-Truth and Ted DiBiase. This is like the black hole of excitement right here. And this is the exact moment where I start screaming at the fucking television to wrestle! Song and dance match. Wrestle! No, they don't wrestle. They start singing. R-Truth, you know what, honestly? I thank fucking heaven that R-Truth is singing a new song now. It's horrible too, but at least it's new. It's not that fucking what's up thing. Ted DiBiase says, "This is ridiculous and stupid." I know. This is about when I changed the channel. I don't know what happened. I don't care. They show John Morrison backstage, and he's doing parkour. And of course, Michael Cole explains what parkour is, as if we haven't seen what it is. Like, I've seen District B13, was it B13? Something like that. It's the thing where you run around and do funny shit, and like you run up walls and you jump over shit, and you really hurt your ankles really badly. And they're like, this is how he works out, and this is how he trains to overcome any obstacle, literally. So he comes out for a Falls Count Anywhere match with John Sheamus, and you know what? It was a really good match. I know I come off as seeming blasé, but this was a good match. And ironically enough, the whole story of this match was that Sheamus is throwing him around, and John Morrison is doing his parkour routine. Like, he'd throw him over a guardrail, and Morrison would, like, do this cartwheel over the guardrail and land on his feet, and Sheamus is like, what the fuck? And Morrison's like, parkour! And then he'd get him thrown off the stage, and he'd do a somersault and land on his feet and be all, parkour! And he'd throw him off the stage again, and then he'd disappear. And Sheamus would look down, and he'd be like, where the fuck is he? And then he'd appear on top of the Titantron and be like, parkour! And then leap off, screaming, parkour! And then like, cross body block or a parkour body block him. And then he kicks out. I don't know why he kicked out, but like Chris Jericho hits him with a chair. And Cole goes, well, there's no disqualifications. And I go, bullshit! Because there's a very real difference between a Falls Count Anywhere match and a no disqualification match. I have seen people get disqualified from a Falls Count Anywhere match. By the same vein, in a no disqualification match, you have to be pinned or submitted in the ring. Because it's not Falls Count Anywhere. That's why you have a hardcore match. A hardcore match is Falls Count Anywhere and no disqualifications, or a street fight. And in fact, I think in many street fights, you still have to be pinned or submitted in the ring. Anyway, I don't know why I cared, but I called bullshit. All right, Chris Jericho hits Morrison in the back. Sheamus crawls on top. Easy pin. Okay. And I think... the story for that was, if John Morrison beat Sheamus, he was in the six-pack challenge. So all John Morrison had to do was defeat Chris Jericho and the WWE Champion in 2 straight matches to qualify for a six-way match. Yeah. Good luck, John. So, best moment of the show, ironically, was Chris Jericho. He comes out, he gets a chair, he sits in the middle of the ring, and he goes, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving until I get what I want. I want to be back in the six-pack challenge at Night of Champions. And he's like, I don't care what the fuck I have to do. I'm not leaving. And if I don't get what I want, I'm going to quit. So he's talking about how he's going to quit, and all of a sudden the email comes up, and Michael Cole, of course, he stands up, he raises his arms, and he's like, may I have your attention, please? I am receiving an email from... And Jericho immediately cuts him off. He goes, of course you have an email! Just read it, idiot! And so Cole looks really hurt. He's like... But... And he starts reading the email. And he's like, I don't respond well to ultimatums, Chris. By the way... This general manager types fucking fast. And if you stop to think about this general manager thing for a second, let's go back a little bit to the Edge Body Slam challenge with Evan Braun. Edge beats up Evan, then after the bell spears him and kicks his ass. Then immediately, like within 5 seconds, there's an email. An email says, I don't appreciate you taking advantage of Evan, so now you're going to be in another match against this man. Okay? And then Mark Henry comes out. So, not only... How do you explain this? The beatdown took maybe 20 seconds. The general manager not only typed out this email, responding to Edge, and then introducing the next opponent, he sent it to Cole... And he must have somehow informed Mark Henry that he was in a match. Because Mark Henry came out immediately after his music hit. He came out in his wrestling gear. And he came out limbered up to fight. So this general manager is omnipotent. And so this happened a lot, this show, where something would happen, and then immediately the general manager would write this, like, paragraph of text. And not only that, like, text that would respond directly to stuff that just happened, stuff that the general manager could in no way have anticipated. So this happened a lot, especially in this segment, to where, like, he says, okay, well, I don't respond to ultimatums, and if you think it does, there's no chance. There's no chance in hell. And Jericho goes, I know you're not Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon's not a coward like you. And then immediately, do-do-do. And then Michael Cole goes, I have received another email. And Jericho immediately goes, shut the fuck up, just read it! And here's the problem with that. Chris Jericho is supposed to be this super heel, and when he's telling Cole to shut the fuck up, that's just about the best way to turn him babyface I can think of right now. So like if you're trying to turn Chris Jericho babyface, having him scream at Michael Cole to shut the fuck up, having him threaten the general manager, who is fucking annoying already, and like threaten to smash the fucking laptop, babyface turn accomplished. Okay? So the general manager's like, how dare you interrupt me? You can be in the six-pack challenge if you win your next match. Which, by the way, is a handicap cage match against the tag team champions, the Hart Dynasty. Honest to God, I had completely forgotten that the Hart Dynasty were the WWE tag team champions. When they came out with those belts, I was like, oh yeah. That's not a good sign, guys, when I have no idea who the tag champs are, and in fact I've completely forgotten your entire title reign. Bad. So they lower the cage, and the Hart Dynasty, they beat up Chris, and then they both run for the try to climb out the cage. So D.H. Smith makes it out, but Chris catches Tyson Kidd. So Smith makes it out of the cage. Match continues. Sorry, I'm a little congested right now. And this is where I really started to lose this match. I had no idea what was going on, because my brother was watching it, I was editing video. Okay? So I see them climbing out, and I hear like, oh, Harry made it out. And then we switch to football for like 30 seconds, I switch back, and then all of a sudden it's Chris Jericho fighting Tyson Kidd in the cage. And I asked my brother, I'm like, wait, what just happened? And he goes, D.H. Smith made it out of the cage, and now they won't let him back in. Because both of them have to escape the cage to win. And I said, that's stupid. And he goes, yes. And I say, why doesn't Harry Smith just climb back in the cage? And they say, and Miles says, they won't let him. I say, why won't they let him? Miles says, I don't know. And I say, who cares if they don't let him? Why doesn't he just do it anyway? He could climb in the door. He could climb back in the cage. And he says, I don't know. You're asking me and I don't know. And I'm like, I don't know either. Why doesn't he climb just back in? It's not like they can disqualify him. Or can they? Can they? I've never seen a handicap cage match in my life. I don't know the rules. Why doesn't he just, like, I don't think there's DQs in a cage match. Although, I have seen a disqualification in a tables match. Again, I'll get to that. Okay? I'll get to that. So, Chris Jericho and Tyson Kidd are now one-on-one in the ring, and Chris Jericho beats Tyson Kidd with the walls of Jericho. Bell rings, Jericho wins. I don't know how that worked. I know I've fallen silent here for a second. I'm just trying to understand. Like, Smith goes out of the ring and is eliminated. Jericho beats one of them and wins. Shouldn't he have to beat both of them? I don't know. So Jericho's back in the match, rendering all of last week's intrigue where John Morrison beat him entirely pointless. Okay. That was a long way to go for not a whole lot, and I still don't understand that match. I may be making a mountain out of a molehill, but that was some pretty fucking stupid booking. Goldust and William Regal in a Trading Places match, where Goldust dressed like William Regal and William Regal dressed up like Goldust. I changed the channel. Randy Orton versus John Cena in a tables match, or as I like to call it, Really? I have seen Randy Orton and John Cena wrestle so many times. I've lost count. It has to be at least 1 billion. Yeah, 1 billion times. They've wrestled over 100 times a night for like 100 years. Yeah. That's hyperbole for you. It's about 1 billion times. Somebody honked their horn at me. Maybe my outrage at the Randy Orton match just boiled over and I must have woken somebody up. So they had a tables match. We've apparently forgotten about that time when... Well, you know that time when Randy Orton tried to murder John Cena with explosives? Yeah, that was a fun one. Or that match, that one time they had that match where the stipulation of the match is they would never wrestle again. That was like 1.5 years ago. That was good time. So here they are wrestling again, in a tables match, and sure enough, everyone and their fucking sister interfered in this match, which should be a disqualification. And I know they said there's no DQs in a table match, but yes, there are. Because I have seen them. I have seen disqualifications in tables matches. I've seen disqualifications in chairs. There was a chairs match. I've seen this happen in a TLC match, and I've seen it happen in a chairs match. And I can't remember who wrestled, but there was this time, it was like, I think it was Teddy Long overruled a decision because somebody used a weapon that was not a chair in a chairs match. I think it was CM Punk. I can't remember. But it was like, you used a weapon that was not a chair in a chairs match, so this match has to restart. I'm just saying, in a tables match, if someone interferes, DQ, okay? Now, everyone fucking interfered in this match. There was a really weird spot in this match. I still don't know what the fuck happened. I know what they tried to go for, because they showed it on replay. But the way this match ended was everyone fucking interfered. There was like 8 people, like all of Nexus and everyone in the 6-pack challenge interfered. And they set up, like, Randy Orton goes to... I'm sorry, John Cena goes to FU... This... It used to be called the FU, now it's called the Attitude Adjustment, and now it's called the AA. After this fucking stupid show, I probably need to go to AA. I'm not calling it the AA. He sets him up for the Attitude Adjustment. He got him over his shoulders, and he flips him, and then they go through the table, and then Randy Orton, like, leaps to his feet. Like he's fucking Spider-Man. Like, after getting FU through the table, he's like, whoa, parkour! I don't know. And then they start playing Randy's music, like, immediately. And my brother and I were like, what? And they're like, the winner of this match, Randy Orton. And I'm like, didn't he just get FU'd through the table? And then Michael Cole's like, well, no. He reversed it. He reversed it. And I'm like, he did? It didn't look like it. And they're like, oh, he reversed it. Replay. And so they show a replay. So John Cena, like, he gets his arm on his shoulders, and he, like, edges up to the table. He FUs him, and as he's coming down, like, Randy Orton, like, he RKOs. Like, the story was supposed to be that Randy RKOs him out of the FU. And he RKOs him through the table. I can kind of see it. I can see him trying to do it. Problem is, Randy goes to the table first. Like, Randy goes through the table. And it wasn't obvious enough that I was watching it on TV. I had the best seats in the house watching it on TV, and I didn't see it. I know for a fucking fact all the people on that arena, they saw John Cena FU the guy through the table. And all of a sudden, Randy Orton's like, I win! That was a... Like I said, if they had pulled it off, it might have been awesome. But they didn't pull it off. Like, what they're trying to do, and I like this, don't get me wrong, I like this, is they're trying to make it so Randy Orton can hit the RKO out of anywhere. And the best, they will never get better than this. Never. Is when Randy Orton beat Evan Braun. Like, Braun was going for the shooting star press, and Randy catches him out of the shooting star press into the RKO. They will never top that. Like, not in a million years. And they keep trying. But like I said, don't get me wrong, I like it. If he can, like, if they can find a way to reverse every finishing move into the RKO, it'll work. But when he's doing the FU, whether he reverses it into the RKO or not, it still looks like John Cena hit his move. It's just like, I know what they're trying to do, it just didn't work. Now, if you're looking for predictions, you're not going to get any, because I don't know who's going to win this one. I usually just pick the champion to retain in, like, these big clusterfuck matches, like anything, like triple threat, fatal 4-way, 6-pack. I usually just pick the champ to retain, especially if the champ is a heel. Heels tend to win these type of matches, but I don't know. There's honestly a lot of ways they could go. I have a sneaking suspicion they might actually throw the belt on Wade Barrett, at least for a month. Just to have a final feud with John Cena. I can see them doing this thing where Wade Barrett's got the belt, John Cena challenges them, and they have a match, and that's how it works. You know. I really think Daniel Bryan's going to beat The Miz for the U.S. title, just because The Miz doesn't need it anymore. Like, The Miz has got the Money in the Bank thing. If he's going to challenge for the championship, for the World Championship, then they almost never have a guy hold the U.S. title and the World title at the same time. It's pretty much high time Miz dropped the belt just for the sake of his career. Like, he's like, if they're going to elevate him, that's how you do it. You have him drop the belt and you just have him move on. SmackDown. I watched last week's SmackDown, and I can pretty much simply recap it in that Kane talked for about 70 minutes about how he was going to beat The Undertaker. And then Taker had a match with CM Punk, and then Kane laughed at him. I so don't care about the Kane Undertaker bullshit. I'm a Kane, I'll just say it, I'm a Kane hater. I don't like Kane matches. I think Kane wrestles the exact same match every fucking time he gets in the ring. You know, I've seen everything Kane had to offer in, like, 1994. And I don't need to see them rehash the Kane-Taker feud. Jesus, how many years has this been in the making? Like, 16? Jesus Christ. Let this thing end. Okay, so I'll wrap it up with NXT. This show sucks. But honestly, it sucks, but I'm perversely entertained by it. This is the exact kind of bullshit where you'd think I'd hate it, because the last thing they want these chicks to do is wrestle. And sure enough, every time they wrestle, it's a fucking disaster. But it's like really hilarious disasters, because these chicks have no idea what they're doing. Like, none. No clue. But it's really funny to watch them wrestle, because like it's funny. And so they're doing everything they can to try to, like, seriously, they have a half-hour show, and they've got an hour to kill, okay? So, like, they are trying everything they can to just kill time. So they have them do these challenges. Like, these challenges have nothing to do with wrestling. They have a promo challenge, they have them all promo, and they have, like, this week they had a joke-off, where they had them all tell jokes. And they have obstacle. They're gonna have an obstacle course like every week. I'm calling it right now. Like every fucking week, obstacle course. But I'm not gonna recap the matches because they're just stupid. The real news of this one is that Primo is still employed. Really, I think the best part of the show is Michael Cole again. I could go on forever, but honestly, Cole is killing the show. Cole is killing NXT dead. And here's why. Especially this week. And, what was it? This week, Cole, he comes out, and they're doing the joke-off. And Cole immediately starts just dying 1,000 deaths. He's like, oh, this sucks. They all suck. This competition sucks. And, is it Josh Matthews? I think it is. I don't know. They all, I always confuse him with Grisham. I think it's Josh Matthews. He's like, "Oh, Michael, you're just being mean." He's like, "This sucks," and I'm like, "I know it sucks." And so eventually, Cole can stand no more. Like, especially when I think it's Jamie wins the joke off. By the way, Jamie has she's jacked up, man. She's got some shoulders and arms on there. I did not call that. She's working out hard. I should work out that hard, man. And, oh, by the way, that Caitlyn chick has the biggest bristles I've ever seen, man. Those things are enormous. Woo! If she wants to win this thing, honestly, Caitlyn, you're not a great talker, and you're never going to be a great wrestler, but if you want to win those things, if you want to win this, sorry, Freudian slip. If you want to win this NXT thing, show off those jumblies every fucking chance you get. Honest to God, you will get the NXT vote if you just wave those things. Just start flapping them around and put pasties on it. Just seriously, those boobies alone, whatever you paid for those, worth every penny. Oh man, woo! Sorry, I got a little steamy there. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Oh, Michael Cole. Sorry, you can see how I'd forget about Michael Cole in the face of those things. Michael Cole, he's like, "This sucks!" And he stands up, and he gets out a mallet. And he's like, he stands up and he starts hitting a gong. Hard. He's like, fuck this, it's dumb. This sucks, you all suck! This show sucks! We should not be joking, we should be wrestling! And then they're like... Then they finally managed to calm Michael Cole down. They have a match. Primo and fucking... I think it's Primo and who? Dolph Ziggler have a match. And... the whole time, Cole is just burying this show. He's like, I was calling John Cena versus Randy Orton on Monday. What the fuck am I doing here? And you think I'm kidding. With the whole... he doesn't say any profanity, but he really is I called John Cena and Orton. What the fuck is this? And I'm like, I know. So, really, I think the major plot development here is that Vicky Guerrero and Dolph Ziggler come out for their match, and Dolph Ziggler wins his match, and Dolph starts hugging Caitlyn. Caitlyn jumps into his arms, and Caitlyn, fine. And so Vicky Guerrero immediately recognizes this and gets jealous, and so she's trying to put an ultimatum on Dolph Ziggler, stop fooling around with that hussy, or you're gonna lose all this. And so Dolph Ziggler's like, yeah, whatever. So she's going out, and they do an obstacle course, and Vicky tries to do the obstacle course, and she actually does not that badly. But she falls down off the balance beam, and she starts to cry, and she runs off nobody loves me, and runs off. And actually, I'm kind of impressed with the way they're developing that storyline. Like I said, if it has a point, I don't mind it so much. Like, you might think I don't like it if it's not just like all wrestling all the time. No. I'm fine with the plot developments. I really am. When it's done well and it's leading to something. This is actually kind of interesting because I'm not hating on Vicky Guerrero. Like, I think she's actually doing a very good job in her current role. Dolph Ziggler can kiss my ass, but they're actually doing something somewhat interesting with him. That's all I got. So, they do the obstacle course, and Caitlyn wins. And actually, they don't book it this way, but it worked out great because Caitlyn set the winning time, and she went first. So everyone had to try to beat the time. Okay? So that was actually kind of interesting. You know, had they gone another way where, like the second to last person set the winning time and the last person was lame. But two things about this obstacle course. These chicks, every time I saw them do push-ups, I've been in gym class. My brother, who's a sheriff's deputy, you know, he's basically been through boot camp on this sort of thing. Me and him, we've done enough exercising and had enough like coaching to like seeing these abysmal push-ups. We're like, get all the way down, you whore! Like, you gotta get all the way down on the push-ups. Like, especially Naomi, who I actually really like Naomi in this show. She is athletic. She's very talented. And she's got a natural charisma about her. But her push-ups, she might as well have just done them girly style. Because she was like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like, she wasn't even getting down. She was like barely flexing her elbows. She was like the worst push-ups. She might as well just not have moved and counted to 10. And even the referee, who was pretty much letting anything go in terms of push-ups, like, as long as there was like a 20-degree bend in your elbow, he would count it. This, he was like, I can't count this. Like, no, fuck you. Get back down there and do the fucking push-ups. She did those push-ups like 3 times. She did 10. She was like, what are they going to do? She'd get up and the ref would be like, no, fucking do the push-ups. And she'd be like, what are they doing? Doing a little more. And he's like, no, do the push-ups. And finally she did the push-ups. And by now it was like 2 minutes in. Like the winning time was 36 seconds. She was 2 minutes in doing these fucking push-ups. She looked so pissed off. Like she was robbed that they were letting these fucking horrible push-ups go. I was like, put those titties on the ground, okay? Do the fucking push-ups. I'm just saying, I've done enough sports. I've done enough where, like, if I'd have done those stupid fucking push-ups, the coach would have put his boot so far up my ass, I'd be pulling shoelaces out my nostrils. Do the fucking push-ups. So, okay, Caitlyn wins. And Cole immediately starts up. He grabs his fucking mouth. He's like, no, dumb, stupid. I was a war correspondent. What the fuck am I doing here? I'm not covering this horse shit. You know what? Screw this show. This show sucks. And like, he destroyed. By the way, he brought a gong. Michael Cole, in anticipation of hating this fucking show, this must have been from last week. Like last week, he goes home. I'm just thinking in terms of storyline, you know. Cole, he goes home, and he's like, that fucking NXT show sucked. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy a gong. I'm going to bring this fucking gong with me, set it right next to the announce table. I'm going to hit this fucking gong. He bought a gong. He went to a music store and was like, I want a gong, please. And they sold him a gong. And he's like, I need a gong stand for my gong. He set the gong. Nobody questioned. Like, this whole thing was right next to him the whole time. Josh Matthews did not question the presence of the gong until he started hitting the gong. So he basically fucking destroys this gong. And he's like, I'm off this fucking clown shoe show. Ah! And he gets up and he starts walking out. And the crowd is pretty much firmly behind him at this point. Because we're like, yeah, we know. So he walks out and he's like, he keeps yelling, stupid! Dumb! Stupid! Dumb! Dumb! And he just keeps leaving. He like, the whole way up the ramp, he's just like, dumb! This show is dumb! And he leaves, and I'm like, I know, Michael. I know it is. Oh, I forgot. There's a moment during the joke off. And a lot of people posted on Twitter about the joke off, thinking I would hate it, and I did. But there was a moment that gave me endless hilarity during the joke off, where they've all told their jokes, Cole's done his gong bit, and fucking Stryker, he starts going down the line. He's like, okay, everybody, who do you think won? Could it be Naomi? Like nobody cares. And they go, all right, who do you think? How do you think AJ? Boo! What about Jamie? And then, like, they go, and then they cut to the crowd. I seriously watched this 4 times, because this was fucking hilarious. He goes, what about Jamie? And then they cut to the crowd. There was so much in this crowd that I found hilarious. The reason I watched it 4 times, because not only was it funny, but because there was so much to take in this one picture. I saw something new every fucking time. Okay? So here's what happened. He goes, the audience is supposed to judge the winner of the joke-off. So they cut to the audience. The first thing I see is this guy who is just doing this. Like, this guy is completely face-palming. He's like, oh, Jesus. Then I rewind. I go back. There's like this old couple. And there's the old couple looks so bored. They're like, this old man is just like just honestly, like just knuckles dug into his skull, like, just, oh, I wish I was dead. Why can't the Grim Reaper just claim me now? Then I rewind it. I watch it again. There's a guy just posting on fucking Twitter. Like, all you see is him and his phone. And he's just like, he's thumbs deep in his fucking phone, just twittering something. Not even paying attention to the shit that's going on. Right? I think he's right next to the facepalm guy. Like, the guy's just like, and the other guy's like, I know. I'm watching shitty diva search. Haha. LOL, this sucks. WTF. I'm forgetting one guy. I know I am. I think there's like another group of people. Like, there's a guy and his girlfriend who aren't even paying attention. Like, they're clearly just like talking to each other, not giving a shit about this show. But I'm gonna post this picture. I've actually got it on my camera. I have a PVR, but I was like, fuck it. I took a photograph. Hopefully it'll come through. If not, I'll PVR it. But I'm gonna leave you with that. And next week we're gonna watch TNA Impact, or this Thursday we're gonna watch TNA Impact, where the Pope turns heel for no reason. See you next time.